I'm standing at the Too Tall Desk today, but today is not an episode of Too Tall Desk. Instead, it's actually a serious conversation, once again in defense of a game, and it's not probably, I have never received this many requests in such a short amount of time to talk about something in all of my years on YouTube. Never. The second this gameplay footage went live, I was getting direct message after direct message, tweet after tweet, saying, what do you think of this? Will you cover this? I am going to cover this. I am going to point something out though. I stand by my previous statement that I will not be reviewing Modern Warfare when it launches for all the reasons that I discussed in that video, which, I don't know, it'd probably be in the recommended. It's on the channel. Not the point. Today, I want to talk about the response to the newest gameplay footage of Call of Duty Modern Warfare and how A, it kind of validated my excitement in the first place, B, is exactly what it should have been, but C, more importantly, shows that Activision gets one thing so terribly wrong that it's not even worth joking about. It's actually kind of a serious problem at this point. It's a problem for gaming as a whole. More importantly, it's a serious problem for Call of Duty. Like I said, not a Too Tall Desk, so let's just jump into what this is. This is 5 minutes of raw 4K Modern Warfare multiplayer gameplay. It is, in nearly every way, spectacular relative to what Call of Duty has been offering for years. First off, let's talk about the engine. When they first showed that new Rainbow Six Siege type mode, this game did not look good. In fact, it looked like a mobile game port of an FPS. It was not a pretty showing. That seemed to be mostly because it was in a multiplayer setting, but more importantly because it seemed to be streaming and that was degrading the quality. And this time we get to see it without people screaming at us every 10 seconds, so that's nice too. But it's gorgeous. It's a drastic step up from what we saw when it was first revealed in the stream, but more importantly, it's a step up for Call of Duty. It looks incredibly good. So I think we can move on from the conversations of this game looks awful, or this game looks last gen, or this game looks like it's 6 years old. It doesn't. It looks gorgeous in 4K. Granted, I don't know how many people are going to be able to run it in 4K, but it looks good enough to where even when it's scaled down to 1080p, it's looking pretty good. From the context of texturing to detail, it's banging. That's great. Now, moving on to the more important things. First off, sound design. This already is some of the best sound design, in my opinion, in a Call of Duty game in years. It does not any longer sound like a paintball gun being shot at somebody. It doesn't sound like an airsoft war. It sounds like actual real weaponry being fired. Now, it's not perfect, but it sounds good. It sounds a bit more realistic, and it matches the tone that Call of Duty seems to want to be taking with this entry. They no longer sound like toys. It doesn't sound like a weird, realistic version of laser tag. It sounds like there's some impact there. Moving on to the actual gameplay, the thing that everybody was worried about. It kind of seems like, and granted, I'm gonna get to this is just what they wanted to show us. It's not quite as slow as we originally thought it was going to be, and this is, well, you know, hang on. This is the problem, but I'll get to it. It's relatively fast-paced. It's not Advanced Warfare or anything, but it's fairly reasonably paced for a boots-on-the-ground Call of Duty game. Quick scoping, things of that nature are back. The maps we were shown here were very small, but that was for the purposes of this particular game mode. But more importantly, movement isn't as stiff as it originally looked. It's a bit faster than it originally looked. And more importantly, this is clearly not a Rainbow Six Siege clone like it looked to be when they first showed the game. It's not. That game mode that they showed off absolutely does look like a Rainbow Six Siege clone, and it seems to play like a Rainbow Six Siege clone. However, what they've showed us, which is the traditional multiplayer experience, still retains the identity of Call of Duty for whatever that's worth, good or bad. It's not a Rainbow Six Siege clone in that way. So for those of you, including myself, that did not like what they saw of the game mode that was originally shown in the stream, that's not what the entire game is. Thank goodness. But now, immediately, and this is why this is not a Too Tall Desk, there's not a bunch of information here. I want to get to the real crux of the issue here, which is Activision, not the studio, Activision, just clearly has no idea what they're doing anymore. They're unsure of themselves, they're insecure about what they show, they are afraid of showing anything at all, and more importantly, they have no idea which direction their actual audience and their player base want them to take. And granted, it's worth pointing out, half the time, those people don't know either. But there is an overwhelming group of people that's pretty sure that what they want is something similar to what's being promised here. But Activision is maybe the worst marketing entity in gaming. But Activision is going to destroy Call of Duty without giving the developers a chance to keep it alive. Let me clarify what that means. The first thing we saw of Call of Duty was Activision going, how do we get people excited about this? Let's show them something we think they want that we don't appear to have done very well, but at least it looks different so we can get the I want Call of Duty to be a different crowd, and then we'll show the crowd that wants more Call of Duty something different later. But they didn't think about the fact that A, what they were showing didn't look great, B, didn't seem to be finished, C, was being shown by a bunch of people that the average consumer doesn't even know of, and D, most importantly, is not Call of Duty. There are a lot of people that say things like Activision doesn't know what Call of Duty is anymore, and this kind of stuff proves that theory. They have no idea what they want this to be. They just hope they'll throw something new out and it'll stick. And whether or not they believe in it is a different story. And what this gameplay video shows is that Activision saw the response to the initial stream. They saw the response and they knew that what they had shown didn't go over well. What baffles me is that Activision no longer knows what they want Call of Duty to be. The developers, the people making games like Modern Warfare, are making some good stuff. Modern Warfare, after this 5-minute clip, looks incredible. My hype, my excitement, through the roof. What I'm also fairly certain of is that it was an Activision decision, regardless of what the devs say, to show that Rainbow Six Siege Lite game mode that they showed off first to begin with. Almost as if it was a testing ground to see which approach to take the marketing in. And what that shows me is the developers are the only people that know what makes Call of Duty good. Activision has no clue, and I assure you, it's a publisher decision to decide what to show and when. That is not a developer decision. Developers do not sell games, publishers do. Well, indie developers do, but that's not the point. Publishers in the AAA space are the people that sell the games. It is not up to the developer when they want to show something off or do a gameplay reveal or do a multiplayer reveal. That is solely a publisher decision. The developer might have some input, but the person or the people that make that decision, the entity that makes that decision, is the publisher. With that being said, seeing how great this 5-minute clip looked, and more importantly, seeing how shoddy Activision has already been about marketing the game, I'm more concerned than ever about what's going to be included in the package that the developers under Activision's umbrella want to present with Call of Duty moving forward. Let me say this first. If you are somebody on a forum or in YouTube comments hating on people for being excited about this Call of Duty, stop, because this is a Call of Duty for the first time, in my opinion, that's absolutely worth being excited about. This 4-minute, 5-minute, 4K clip absolutely is a reason to be excited. And if you're somebody trying to tell people don't be excited about this after this, then you don't really understand what the Call of Duty community has been through over the past few years. This is a great first step. It is something worth being excited about, and more importantly, it is proof that the developers know what they're doing. Call of Duty can be put back on track. Now, when I say I'm worried, what I'm worried about is that the developers are not going to have enough control over the final product. I believe Modern Warfare as a game, from what we've seen so far, is going to be incredible. From what we've heard so far about the single player, is going to be incredible. It's going to be exactly what everybody wants from Call of Duty. I have absolute faith that Modern Warfare has a chance to be the best Call of Duty in years, and if anybody's saying otherwise, they're not paying attention. But I have no faith at all that A, Activision will market this game in a way that doesn't make people absolutely despise it, and B, Activision will take a step back from the monetization and give the game a chance to live a life as a video game first and a moneymaker second. This game will launch at $60. It will sell enough copies to be profitable in a week. Activision needs to, for once, let Call of Duty get its footing and leave the microtransaction stuff alone. What concerns me is they're doing this whole no more season pass, maps are free thing. And what concerns me is Activision's not saying we don't need that money anymore. And that scares me, because what that means is that they're likely to try to make this money up elsewhere. If anything, this video is an open letter to Activision, the publisher. Your developers seem to have something here. They seem to have created something that's not only got people excited, but looks objectively really great. And there's not a lot that can make somebody at this point be excited about Call of Duty when they've been burned this many times. But your developers have managed that. I beg of you, when this game releases, pick a team. Do one of two things. If you're going to overtly monetize it and destroy it, do it day one. Don't manipulate people, don't manipulate their purchases, and don't be anti-consumer. If you're going to put all the crap in there, put it in there. Let the game be reviewed as it is. Don't hold it for a month to put it in there then. But option two, and the one I implore you to take, is let your bottom line breathe for a single year. Let Modern Warfare exist with no crap, no loot boxes, no microtransaction schemes, no tiered microtransactions, no progression tied to dollars, none of that. Let Modern Warfare be what the original Modern Warfare was. Pure enjoyment, pure multiplayer Call of Duty. Let people play the game they paid $60 for without asking them for more or taking things away in an effort to get more. That's my simple plea. That's all I ask. If you can do that one thing, what I assure you will happen is you will win back hundreds of thousands, even millions of consumers. You will win over an entire generation of gamers with one release if you can manage to do that. If you can show people that there's a glimmer of hope that's worth spending their money on, you will earn more money in the long run than you could ever imagine in the short term. Because Call of Duty, up until this very moment, has been a sinking ship. It's been a Titanic, and it's only going down quicker. It's near the point of halving. It's there. It's breaking. You have the opportunity now to fill the lifeboats, to lift this thing back up, to patch it together with super glue. It takes one release. You are making Modern Warfare an ode to the game that changed multiplayer gaming, that boosted an entire generation of multiplayer gamers, and more importantly, that people cared about. So act like you care, and act like you care about your developers. I don't normally go on these little open letter spiels, but today it just feels right. But now, maybe more so than ever, I want to know what you guys think. What did you think of the 4 to 5 minutes you were shown? What did you think of what you saw here? Do you think this looks good? I mean, and it's worth pointing out, the reason earlier I said, if you're in the comments telling people not to be excited, you're doing it wrong. No one should tell you what to be excited about. Don't be that person. If someone's excited, you can disagree with them, but don't tell them not to be. Don't tell them they're wrong for being so. But I want to know if you are. Either way, no shaming in the comments. Do you like this? Are you going to buy it? Does this interest you? It interests me. Does it interest you? Let me know down in the comments below if this is a purchase you're considering making at all. And if not, why? And if you are, is it because you keep playing Call of Duty, or is it because this one has got you back? Down in the comments below. As always, if you enjoyed this video, press that like button. If you are not yet subscribed, press subscribe. I put out gaming videos a bunch of times a week, sometimes more, sometimes less. Sometimes they're a different series called Too Tall Desk, where I make jokes about video games. Other times, they're like mini docs. I don't know. You just press subscribe so you get those. Also, press the bell. The bell is the only saving grace left. If you want any of this content, the bell is a necessity. If you press it, it's not as crazy as you think. You just actually get notified when I upload a video. Subscribing doesn't really do that. Well, you have to subscribe first to press the bell. You get it. Press the bell. Press the bell. Really quickly, I have a quick announcement to make. I do have a podcast. Some of you have been asking where they can find it because I mentioned it on Twitter. It's not about games per se. It's just about kind of movies and TV and nostalgia and all sorts of stuff. It's called A Real Podcast. I'll put a link to it. It's on YouTube, actually. It's a whole different channel. It's just not really gaming stuff, so I didn't want to put it here. But yeah, it's a podcast. If for those of you asking where it is, I'll put a link down in the pinned comment, I guess, under the read more. If you press read more, I'll put a link there. So yeah, you can go check that out. That's it. Until next time, guys, I'm out.